Why, hello. Welcome to the Actary Magic channel. I'm Steve, the Actary. Today we're going to be talking about Teysa Karlov. But before we get into her, I want to let you know we're doing a 30-day, 30 commander challenge, and we're about a third of the way through, and I can't wait to share with you a new video tomorrow. But let's get into Teysa, shall we? She is a 4-drop 2/4 legendary human advisor that says if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Creature tokens you control have vigilance, lifelink. Yeah, I don't build my stuff in the token way, but you may. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. Number 5 on our list is Karmic Guide. Now, this is like, hey, this isn't a death trigger. You're right. Hold on. Let's get into it. So, double white, 3 generic, 2/2 angel spirit, flying protection from black with an echo cost of double white, 3 generic. At the beginning of your upkeep, if this came under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice it unless you pay its echo cost. Okay, we don't mind it dying to that. When Karmic Guide enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is so good. Like, you sneeze at Karmic Guide and it goes infinite. It feels like. But the thing that's nice about this is it's going to get us a chance to start doing those crazy shenanigans again. If a piece gets removed or something like that, we have a way of getting it back. And it's super important that we can recycle these cards that are going to our graveyard. Awesome. So number 4 on our list, let's get some death triggers in here. All of these will trigger multiple times from Teysa. Teysa will have these triggers happen twice. So Blood Artist is 1 black, 1 generic, 0/1. Whenever Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So this is interesting. So let's double check to see, does it say, actually it does trigger a second time, so you're going to get to choose a new target for every time Blood Artist trigger happens. So the first trigger happens, you can choose one opponent, and the second trigger happens, you can choose another opponent if you so choose. This one's kind of limited in that you can only target one person at a time, whereas a Zulu Port Cutthroat, not mentioned here, will target everybody, but only whenever your own creatures die. A lot of nuance, but go look up Zulu Port Cutthroat. But Pawn of Ulamog, I did want to mention because these are super great for infinite combos. It's a double black, 1 generic, 2/2 Vampire Shaman. When Pawn of Ulamog or another non-token creature you control dies, you may create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token. It has sacrifice this creature, add a generic to your mana pool. Sweet. Next up, we have Sifter of Skulls, does something very similar. He's a 4-drop, 1 black, 3 generic, devoid, aka whenever it's in play or in your hand, it's a colorless card. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature token onto the battlefield. It has sacrifice this creature, add a generic to your mana pool. By the way, sorry about the formatting with my video. Whenever I have 3 images on the board, the one gets cut off. It's a 4-drop. 1 black, 3 generic. All right, number 3 on our list, we have some draw. Okay, so these all draw, but they all do it in slightly different ways. So for instance, Smothering Abomination is a 4-drop, 2 black, 2 generic, devoid, 4/3 flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. Sacrificing a creature does not trigger or does not get an additional trigger as opposed to dying. It is a slightly different wording, so just keep that in mind. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, draw a card. So the creature is dying technically, but Smothering Abomination is triggering whenever you're sacrificing. So you're not going to get 2 card draw out of Smothering Abomination. However, Grim Haruspex, whatever, and Midnight Reaper will both trigger twice. So you'll draw 2 cards from both of these. They're both 3 drops. They're both 3/2s. One's a human wizard, one's a zombie knight. This is whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. And Midnight Reaper will also deal 1 damage to you. So be careful with Midnight Reaper. Grim Haruspex is the best of the bunch. Oh, Midnight Reaper is a 3-drop as well. 1 black and 2 generic. So these are all really great. They're all super useful for us to get our game plan really rocking and rolling. Number 2 on our list, drum roll please. Pityless Plunderer. I would be remiss if I did not mention this guy. I mean, this guy is bananas. He's a 1 black, 3 generic, uncommon. That's like worth 15 bucks. It's a 1/4 human pirate. It says whenever another creature you control dies, create a colorless treasure artifact with tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. This is interesting because every time Pityless Plunderer is in play, and so is Teysa, we're going to get 2 treasures every time another creature we control dies. And this is to include tokens. Very interesting. So any of our creatures that we're sacrificing for a Pawn of Ulamog or Sifter of Skulls, those creatures sacrificing and dying are going to get us treasure tokens with Pityless Plunderer, because they do touch the graveyard as they die. Now, number 1 on our list, please, drum roll. Phyrexian Altar. Again, another card that you just look at sideways and it wants to go infinite. It's a 3 generic artifact. It says sack a creature, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I love this card. It's fantastic. I need to go get myself a copy. But let's talk about an infinite combo to go with this bad boy. Check it out. So Teysa is doubling our death triggers. Well, additionally, Pityless Plunderer, every time something's going to the graveyard, we're going to get 2 treasure tokens with Teysa out, right? Well, Ashnod's Altar is going to sacrifice and add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. Place ability as a mana source. So we can just add 2 mana for sacrificing a creature. So reassembling Skeleton is going to cost us 1 black and 1 generic to return to the battlefield, directly from the graveyard to the battlefield. So we're sacrificing it with Ashnod's Altar to go to the graveyard, get 2 generic. Well, Pityless Plunderer is going to see Reassembly Skeleton go to the graveyard and give us 2 treasures. So basically we have 2 black sources and we have 2 generic sources. So we can spend a black and a generic, and then we can go infinite with this, because every time we sacrifice Reassembling Skeleton, we're going to get 4 mana, spend 2 to bring him back, and then we have net 2 mana. So we're going to get infinite colored mana and infinite colorless mana. Very cool. And what we can use it on is something like Blood Artist. We're going to get infinite death triggers, infinite mana, and we can just shoot everyone to death at the table. It's fantastic. Anyway, thank you so much, y'all, for coming out. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm super excited about my channel. It's growing so fast. You guys have brought such a strong game to help me out here, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. All right, guys, have a good day. Button.